Hi there, this is Praying Medic, and this is my news and prophecy update for Sunday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2017. I have been sick as a dog. I spent the last 2 days in bed, pretty much the whole 2 days. I've had body aches, fever, coughing. I was so weak yesterday I couldn't get up and take a shower. I get up in the morning after having a dream, had a little bit of coffee, went right back to bed, and I stayed in bed all day. It has been a very difficult couple of days for me, but thank you for your prayers, everyone who's been praying for me. I felt quite a bit better this morning. I still have a low-grade fever and obviously a cough and some junk going on, but turned the corner. So just again, thanks to everyone who prayed for me. Really means a lot to me. So, big news is the Iranian protests. People are speculating, is this a CIA operation? Whenever you see Iran or some nation in that part of the world that is undergoing possible regime change, the first thing you think of is, gee, is the CIA behind this? I do not think the CIA is behind this. And there's a couple of reasons why I don't believe the CIA is behind it. Number one is it was the CIA that actually helped install the current regime. Under the Obama administration and under the Bushes, they used the CIA a lot to do regime change in the Middle East. President Trump has not been into regime change that way. And so because the CIA was behind the current regime, it doesn't make any sense that they would try to create some coup where they would throw out the regime they put in. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because they put in a regime in order to have power and to be able to get money off of that regime, keeping people in bondage and basically oppressing them. So, and look, what are the people in Iran all upset about? Initially, they were upset about the economics of what's going on. Their money, their government has been funding terrorism. And terrorism around the world, and they're fed up with it. They're sick of it, and they want this gone. That's the regime change. They want this oppressive regime that is funding terrorism around the world. They want it gone. And they want a chance to have freedom like the rest of the world has. And, I say God bless them. President Trump is behind the protesters, and it's rather incredible when you look at the president's first year, how he's brought radical change to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, to the Gulf Coast states, and now it looks like the Trump effect is flowing over into Iran. It's just incredible when you look at what has been happening under his presidency. I think it's amazing. Like I said, I don't think this is a CIA operation. I think this is an organic revolution by people who are sick and tired of oppression. And I think we should be praying for the people of Iran. And if you want to know who we should also be praying for, last night, I had this series of dreams all night long, this series of dreams about Afghani people. And when I woke up this morning, it didn't make any sense. I just had these dreams of people from Afghanistan, and there were some of the dreams I saw one person, in some of the dreams I saw a group of people. And they were going through kind of ordinary life problems for Westerners, for people who live in the West. Like, what college are they going to go to, and how do they go through the process of testing and being admitted to colleges and things of that nature. But these were all Afghani people. And I saw all these dreams. I don't know how many dreams. It was all night long. I was dreaming about people from Afghanistan. So I woke up this morning and I thought, what in the heck is that all about? I don't understand that. And then I got in the shower this morning and the Holy Spirit started asking me questions. And he basically said, who's next? And I said, who's next in terms of what? And he said, revolution. And I was like, oh, Afghanistan is next. So Afghanistan, I believe, is another country that will get sick of its government funding terrorism. And I think we should be praying for the Afghan people because I think they're next. I think that Afghanistan is the next place to throw off the chains of oppression. Wouldn't that be cool? If the drug culture, the opium fields, the reliance on, Afghanistan is a very rural, mountainous country, and they're not very modernized. Wouldn't it be great if they were able to get rid of the same oppressive type of leadership that Iran has? And we could virtually wipe ISIS, then would be gone, because the only strongholds for ISIS are in Afghanistan and Iran. The rest have been wiped out. So we should be praying for the people of Afghanistan because I think they're next. And it's going to be an interesting 2018. I do not take melatonin, whoever asked that. No, I just have a lot of dreams. God gives me a lot of dreams. I don't have crazy dreams. I have prophetic dreams. God shows me things that are going to happen in the future in my dreams. He's been doing that for 8 or 9 years. Until 2008, I never had any dreams. I went for 25 years and didn't have any dreams. And then in 2008, on 8/8/2008, I had my first dream. And I've been having dreams consistently since then, and most of them have been prophetic dreams, kingdom dreams. God just reveals things to me that I need to know about and that I can share with people. So I'm going to switch to Qanon, and I want to preface this discussion with I want to let you know that it doesn't matter to me personally if you believe QAnon is legit or not. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. It's not an important thing for anyone to believe that QAnon is legitimate. It's a minor issue. Some people believe QAnon is legit. Some do not. And I have friends who do not believe QAnon is legit. And I have friends who do. And we're still friends. One of the cool things about being in our circle is we don't require everyone to think alike. Everyone is allowed to think whatever they want to think. This idea that we all have to have the same beliefs and the same ideas is not healthy. So, we're all supporting the president. Most of us believe in God. And whether or not you believe in QAnon isn't really the matter. However, for those of you who are interested in QAnon, I had an interesting dream Friday night. I'll tell you about who's going to Gitmo in a second. First, let me talk to you about my QAnon dream. So the first night that I was sick, I had this fever. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I just crashed, went to bed. And I had my phone next to me, and I was listening to a lot of people on Periscope. And I caught James, Real Person Politics. I caught his Periscope, and he was talking about how this current takedown is about us saving our children from predators who want to use them in terrible ways. And James was on a roll on that Periscope. So later that night, I went to sleep and I had a dream. And in this dream, I had several scenes that I was reviewing with this person who was asking me questions the way QAnon asks questions. If you're familiar with the QAnon posts, you know that Q will ask you, why is this relevant? Who is this person? How are they involved? Why is it relevant? Q likes to ask questions. And in this dream, I was going through scenes and things that I had previously learned. And this person was asking me questions, helping me straighten out my understanding of things I had learned previously. And then I basically, I don't know if I was sleeping or what happened, but I got up and we started walking, me and this person who resembled Q a lot. Now, here's the thing in the dream. I did not know if this was Q. In the dream, I thought, wow, this person is very much like Q. But they didn't introduce themselves as QAnon. I just thought to myself, this is exactly how Q is. So then Q and I go walking through this room, and he's asking me questions like, who is this person? Why are they involved? What about that person? And what is their role in all of this? And just kept asking me these questions. So I don't exactly know how to explain that dream other than to say that I think it's a dream from God that is suggesting to me that QAnon is legit and that QAnon is, the last question that QAnon asked me was, or the last question that I remember, QAnon asked me, or this person who seemed like QAnon asked, do you understand that this is primarily about the children? That question stuck in my mind. There were a lot of other questions in the dream. That question stuck in my mind. And when I got up and wrote the dream down, that was one of the questions that I wrote down. I didn't remember all the questions that this person asked me. And as James said, and as a lot of us know, I think this is primarily about the children. It is about saving a generation of children from the evils that these people are doing. I think that is the president's heart. He wants to save our children from these corrupt, evil people. And if nothing else comes out of all this, I am totally on board with that. So then I had another dream. Let's see, that was Friday night. Saturday morning, I had another dream. And you can just take this for whatever you think it's worth. I'm just going to tell you what the dream was. In the dream, I was an FBI agent. And I had developed an ability to know things that other people didn't know. And I used this ability to find out what was going on with the high-level management in the FBI. So here's what I did. I sat down and I closed my eyes and I focused, which is normally what I do when I'm trying to get a prophetic word for somebody, or when I'm trying to hear what God is saying, or I'm trying to get a word of knowledge. I will often close my eyes, and the Lord will show me things in visions. So that's what I did in this dream. And I saw a lot of top-level FBI agents being secretly picked up and taken to Gitmo for processing, including Robert Mueller and James Comey. They were taken to Gitmo. They were processed. It was a fairly quick procedure, and then they were sent back to the States, to the mainland. And that was the first part of the dream. And then after I saw Mueller and Comey and these other top-level people being processed, somebody who was an FBI agent asked me, how do I know this stuff? How was I able to see this? And I said, look, it's a process that I've learned. Let me show you how to do it. And I was trying to teach this person how to see things in the invisible realm, how to know things that other people didn't know. I said, look, I just sit down, close my eyes, and I focus, and God shows me things. So I was trying to teach other people how to do this in the dream. So let me answer your question that I know you're wondering. Does this dream mean literally that Robert Mueller and James Comey have been taken to Gitmo for processing? I don't know. I do not know. I don't think that that's happened yet. Does it mean that it will happen in the future? Perhaps it does. Or it could, instead of being literal, it could be symbolic in that there are people in the FBI, high-level people, who will be processed at Gitmo. I don't really know. I just want to provide this information for you guys and gals so you have it, you can pray about it. And look, don't take my word as gospel, okay? Prophecy needs to be discerned, and that means you take prophetic revelation and you pray about it and you ask God to show you the truth about it. God will either tell you it's nonsense, don't believe it, or God will show you and say, yes, this is legit. This is what's really going on. And here's the problem with all of this. If there actually are people going to Gitmo to get processed, the way that it's being done surreptitiously, not being reported by the mainstream media, how are we going to know if it's really happening? It's very difficult to verify any of this. So there is tons of room for speculation as to whether it's happening or not. It's this enigma that you can't really know with certainty that it's happening. And that is a huge problem. That bothers me. What I like to take news, and as soon as I see a news headline or story, I start searching for related stories from other news outlets to see if other people are reporting it, because I like to verify information before I put it out on Twitter. I always try to get 2 or 3 different sources say that they're reporting on the same thing. I like to vet things before I make them public. This is the kind of thing that's really hard to vet. It's impossible to know if it's going to happen or if it is happening. It isn't in the mainstream media. So hard to know, but I think that it's possible, and it's something that we probably need to pray about. I wrote this article, prophetic word, really. Oh, remember when they had the Arab Spring several years ago? When Libya and Egypt and all those nations had a turnover of leadership, there was a lot of regime change. The Lord gave me a dream about that before any of that happened. A couple of months before that happened, the Lord gave me a dream, and I wrote a prophetic word called "You Shall Die by the Sword." I saw all these different oppressive regimes in the Middle East and Northern Africa. The leaders are being taken out. And the Lord said, it's because they lived by the sword. Because they live by the sword, they'll die by the sword. And I saw Muammar Gaddafi and I saw all these other leaders being taken out that year. And that was a dream the Lord gave me months before it happened. So this kind of thing is not unusual for me. I've had a lot of prophetic dreams about these types of things before they happen. I'm not saying that I have a perfect track record. I don't. I am saying that the Lord has given me some good information in the past. And the only reason I share this information now is because He has proven pretty reliable in a lot of things. So that is my update for today. I think 2018 is going to be a blockbuster year. I think the president is only getting started on the things he's going to do for America. I think we can look forward to some incredible things next year. Takedown of corruption, freeing child hostages and slaves, more exposure of corrupt people in Washington, D.C. and in Hollywood. If you've been praying for that, keep on praying and expect that we're going to see more of that in 2018. All right. That is it. I love you all. Take care. I will catch you on the next broadcast.